Good afternoon.
Oh, hi there.
How are you?
I'm fine. If you're tuning in early, we just thought we'd start a little early, but the show officially starts at,
3 o'clock.
so we won't do
3
the
p.
introductions or anything like that. This would be like when you play bingo. This is the early bird.
The early bird.
We had a bingo last Saturday and we had an early bird. Anyways, I thought, well, we had a little bit of time and we're on early. We would talk about a brand new product. It's called
Linka Specta, 20%.
Linka Specta. Sounds like a foreign language, doesn't it?
It does.
But a lot of you folks are probably aware or remember a product called liquamycin, and it was a very, very popular drug, and we had to take it out of our catalog. Must have been a couple of years, well, had to be a couple of years ago because we couldn't get it anymore. We had a lot of requests. So we're very fortunate. We have found it, and it is now available. In fact, it's a better product than what we used to offer because they combined the two drugs, liquamycin and spectramycin. And if you're not familiar with it, it's a respiratory product. And being respiratory, some of you know that once in a while you'll open a bird's beak and you'll see the mucus in there. A line of mucus from the top beak to the bottom beak. Well, that's an upper respiratory problem, a very difficult one to get rid of. It's called mycoplasmosis. You've heard us talk about it before. So this is a product. What is that? Oh,
Nothing.
You're taking phone calls now.
It was the show.
Oh, anyway, it's for respiratory. You put it in the drinking water, and it treats other respiratory issues and bacterial infections very, very strong. The only caution I would give you, it is never to be used if you are going to eat your pigeons. Testing has been done and been proven that it most likely would have absolutely no effect, but the manufacturer recommends if you're going to eat your birds, don't use this particular product. It goes in the drinking water, and like a lot of the bacterial products we sell or antibiotics we sell, it is recommended that the first 4 days of the treatment, you added bromhexine with it, which we have available. And what that does is makes the antibiotics work even better than it would without the bromhexine. If you have any questions, give us a call. We have it in stock. Some of you might remember it as LS50, which is what we used to sell, but basically it is for mycoplasmosis, a very, very difficult respiratory issue to get rid of. Mm-hmm. So that's what I wanted to mention. And we have another 30 seconds to talk. What are we going to talk about? You know me, I'm always at a loss for words as to what to say.
I know you are. We did come into the inside studio today because it's a little chilly outside.
Yes, 55 degrees, I think, in the 40s last night. And our furnace the thermostat wasn't set properly. So when we got up this morning, the house was around 63 degrees. In fact, I got up in the middle of the night, nice guy that I am, and went and got an extra blanket because Vicky was cold, and I put the blanket over her.
That was sweet.
Wasn't that nice?
That was nice.
I even cuddled up with her because I was warm, and I touched her shoulder, and it was cold. Her and I sleep together. That's your mother. She sleeps with me.
Really?
I guess it's time for the show. See, I told you I never have anything to say.
Okay. So, welcome to Foys on Facebook. As you know, I'm Gina. This is Jerry, and Veronica's behind the scenes. If you'd like to see somebody else do the show with Jerry one day, just ask, and we can make it happen. So today's show, we're going to talk about a little bit about show season, about your baskets, taking them to the show, what to do with them, and then also preparing for breeding season, disinfecting your lofts and perches, nest boxes, all that stuff. We do have a question to start with on the board.
Well, I don't want to talk to Keith.
Hey, Keith. Let's see what Keith has to say. Hey, loser, it's your favorite raven. You know, the blackbird that eats dead players, things like Steelers, players, and fans.
Well, as we mentioned before, we know Keith is one of the very few Baltimore Ravens fans. You notice how many empty seats when they play in Baltimore?
I do.
You
I
know?
did notice
And
that.
as I mentioned before, Keith, the Raven is a scavenger. So it would appear to me that I don't know how the heck you got the Ravens as a symbol or whatever, mascot, but I sure wouldn't want a scavenger, you know, when it eats garbage and stuff like dead animals and things like that to be my mascot, would you?
I wouldn't.
All right.
But
Thanks.
we all know you're an undercover Steelers fan. It's okay. You don't have to admit it now. There's a lot of those.
Keith might even be a closet fan because he's always mentioning the
I
Steelers.
know. I think he is. He secretly likes
Well,
them,
where were
like
we
all them
before
other
Keith so
Baltimore
rudely
fans.
interrupted us?
Oh yeah, huh? Let's
Okay.
get back to the show. Let me announce the winners of
Okay.
the auction. So the rollers, the winner is William Santiago. Domestic flights, Robert Anderson, and the fantails, Robert Morrow. So if you're listening, give us a call after the show, and we'll get the pigeons out to you next Tuesday.
I would mention that those were some excellent pigeons that the three folks bought.
Mm-hmm.
The domestic show flights are from John Hepner. And if you read any of the pigeon publications, John Hepner is the master breeder of 10 different breeds. Knows his birds, especially these domestic flights, which are popular up in the Northeast. So you got a great pair. Then the fantails, the American fantails, those came from Earl Biederman, who is the secretary of the Central Fantail Club. Shows all the time, does very, very well. The birds are in a moult, so when you get them, you'll notice that. But a lot of people have pigeons that are in the moult right now. And there was rollers, wasn't it? The other ones, rollers are directly out of my lofts. I don't fly my birds. I just can't because when I sell pigeons, I have to have them there, and I can't have them out flying. And so I just don't do it because if somebody buys 6 rollers like today, and I flew those birds, there's always a chance of a hawk or something. So I don't fly my birds, but they come from a breeder in Ohio. His specialty is colored rollers, good quality rollers, but some fantastic colors. Okay.
Okay. So yes, if you won the bid, please give us a call and purchase the birds.
May I interrupt while you're thinking?
Go ahead.
I wanted to mention the money that we take in for the birds that are on the Foys auctions go to a pigeon charity. It's called the Legacy Fund Trust. I'm the chairman. And what we do is we invest all of the money we take in. We don't take a penny. And that money is invested in what becomes what we call earned income. That's the money the invested money, what the money it makes we make it available to any pigeon product, pigeon need, pigeon. So anything that's related to pigeons, there's a form. All you have to do is go on the NPA website under Legacy Fund Trust, and there's a form, print it out, send it in to me or to the National Pigeon Association. Me, you can just send them to Foys. The reason I want to bring that up at this particular time is the request forms must be in our hands, in the NPA's hands, by October 30th. We've got money to spend. We want to spend it. We want to help the hobby and keep this hobby going. So if you're a member of a club in need, for instance, the Legacy Fund has already paid for cages for the Grand National Show. We paid for some posters to be available at feed stores all over the United States, and it's a picture of must be at least 40 or 50 different breeds to kind of educate the general public that there are things other than those birds that you see on the streets or in the bridges. And we also paid for a DVD to be made about pigeons. So we're doing good things, but we want to do more. So if you are a personal person who has a problem that needs some funding, or a club that needs some help for whatever reason, fill out a form. we'd be glad to support any need. It has to be approved by the NPA board, and then it's sent to us at the trust, and we are the final determinator. And if it's approved, we write a check.
Ready to breathe?
Pardon?
Take a breath. Now,
I am long-winded.
Since you mentioned the poster with all the birds on it, all the pigeons on it, I've had several people call and ask if they could purchase it.
Mm-hmm.
Is that going to be an option in the future?
Well, I spoke to John DiCarlo, who's the president of the NPA, and it is going to be discussed at the next NPA board meeting. He, as well as others, have received requests and really didn't expect that immediate response. So I have a feeling that the board will approve something and come up with a cost. And I think it'll be available through Foys.
Okay, good. Yeah, several people have called about it.
We don't know the cost or
Right.
anything like that now. I did deliver one to a local feed store in New Brighton, and they said, heck yeah, we'll put that up on the wall. So I'm going to take one to a couple of other feed stores.
So as soon as we know about that, we'll be sure and let you guys know. So I wanted to talk about Louisville a little bit.
Louisville.
The show is next weekend. So if you are planning on placing an order with us to bring with us, you need to do it ASAP because we're very full.
ASAP? Is that military?
As soon as possible.
Sort of like the swag method.
Something like that, yeah.
Anybody know what swag method is? If you know, send in a little note.
If you do, send us it.
Yeah.
Jerry taught me about that yesterday. I didn't know what it was. So anyways, if you want to pre-order for the Louisville show, please call as soon as possible to do it. I probably can't order no more 50-pound bags because we have so many 50-pound bags that we're taking. If you have little orders, that's fine. Big orders,
call and ask.
Yeah, call. We may have to take your name and number, call you back to see if we have any room. We are pretty full right now, which is a good thing.
I would love to have taken the camera out there and show people how much we already have pre-ordered. It would not fit in the back of a pickup truck. That's for darn sure.
We have probably 30 pre-orders already.
32 different
large.
people. Yep. So the big thing with that is going to Louisville is we'll bring the products to you. You walk up to the counter or table and give us your name. We'll hand you the box. It'll be paid for, and you don't pay any shipping. That's why so many of the heavy products are being ordered.
Yeah,
we understand
all the big stuff. Yeah. So if you want to order, please call and do so as soon as possible. Another thing for Louisville, we did mention Dr. Botha was going to be there. Unfortunately, he won't be able to make it next week. But Jerry will still be there.
I'll be there
for questions. He'll be at a table away from us.
They banned me from the booth.
No, it's not like that.
Well, it's very similar to that. Very similar. Maybe ask me politely, but I'm not allowed in the booth.
There's a reason for that.
What is the reason?
Well, because it's always so crowded around the table, and you bringing people to talk to you will be that much more crowded.
No, you sure got away from that one, didn't you?
So that's why he can't be at the booth with us. He'll be close to us, though.
And if you're coming to Louisville and you would like to donate pigeons, because Karen, the lady, called me and she's bringing a pair of Luzerne. No, I can't remember. She's bringing a pair. So if you're going to be there, bring me a pair of nice pigeons, and we'll have them on future auctions, and you'll get credited for that.
Make sure they're banded.
Pardon?
Make sure they're banded.
Make sure they're banded on. And a hen and cock. I don't want extra cocks or extra hens. Very difficult to sell them.
And just maybe a little write-up about them so we can let the customers know what they're buying and, all that good stuff.
Have we talked yet about what we're going to talk about? Oh, we just haven't.
We have. We haven't got to it yet. We're getting there.
Should you answer Kitty?
Yes. Kitty. Hi, Kitty. How are you? Yes, we will be at the Big Apple. Are you going to the Big Apple?
To the best of my knowledge.
Okay.
Yes.
So yeah, we will be there we'll be there that Thursday. Right? Yeah. So we'll be there Thursday. We leave Saturday. So we'll be in contact and we'll get together with you.
With your other question, I'm not going to read the question because might get a lot of other requests. I just get tired of giving autographs and things like that. So, and the people want their pictures taken of me. It's hard to do all of that.
It's tough, isn't it?
And they bring they.
Friday. I'm sorry. We'll be there Friday.
Kim stuck her head in. She just, we're supposed to be professionals, and she sticks her head in.
We'll be there Friday, Kitty.
Do I need to take over?
And we come back home
No.
Saturday. Yes, you can take over.
All right. So, anyways, as to your other question, call Gina after the show or next week, and we can talk about that.
Yes.
Did you lose your train of thought?
I
again?
did. So going with that, the Big Apple show is next month, and we will be there. If you would like to pre-order and have something brought there as well, we'll be
We
there.
already got an order for Lancaster.
Wow.
Yeah, I got one today. She's going to call you,
Oh.
Karen.
Okay. Okay. So Louisville next week, Big Apple next month. Okay, so we had some pictures sent in from a customer about curled toes. Jerry's going to talk about that a little bit. And you can see the pictures up on
May
the
I
screen.
have that info just to remind me? The pictures are going to be up on the screen.
Yeah.
By the way, talking about on the screen, if you have a question, you're a new viewer, we accept questions all during the show until 4 o'clock. So if you have a question that relates to pigeons, or if you want to know more about me or Gina or Foys or things like that, Gina. Gina. I'm from Maine. Anyways, we got a lot of you folks know him. I won't mention his last name because I never know what I should or shouldn't. But Roger contacted me and was telling me about an issue. And when he first mentioned he had curled toes on his, not on him, but on his pigeons, we got to talk. What? Well, when I said that, I said he had curled toes. Doesn't that sound like he might have had
Yes.
curled toes?
Mm-hmm.
I know about curled toes. Do you know about curled toes?
Anyways, this pigeon has curled toes.
Okay. I'm sorry. Anyway, it wasn't. I assumed it was just one bird, and I was prepared to discuss the treatment of it for one bird. But he went on, and he was telling me, it's funny. He said it's just one breed. He has multiple breeds. It was affecting just the dewlaps, and these dewlaps were in with other birds too. And why it didn't affect the other birds, he didn't know. And I literally went through almost every book I've got, trying to come up with an answer. I called a veterinarian here in the United States, and here again, I couldn't get an answer that satisfied me because it was affecting the young birds, the old birds, birds in the nest. Sometimes, do we have those pictures?
They're up there.
Oh, they're up there. Sometimes it was just partially curled, the toes like that. But some of them, they were actually curled into a ball and walking on one leg, so to speak, and the toes were all curled up inside. So I couldn't find anything, and I finally sent an email to Dr. Bosa in South Africa, and I must say it's great. Almost all of the vets that I know, the Dr. Miller, Dr. K, Dr. Bosa, all more than willing to help. So I asked Dr. Bosa, and I explained the set of circumstances, and I'm going to read what he said. It seems like it's a vitamin B deficiency or shortage. Vitamins B1, B2, and B6. It could most likely be caused and lowered the immune system by a low-grade coccidiosis. Treat all the birds with cocci-worm and then repeat it in 2 weeks. The product is available through us, and we ship to distributors all over the United States. So the suggested treatment is cocci-worm, 2 weeks, and then repeat it in 2 weeks. Then, I don't want it to sound complicated, but this was an issue. In most cases, he wouldn't be able to show the birds. I don't think he'll be able to show in Louisville, but he should be able to show in the future. Then we have a product called Multivite. That's to be mixed with avio gel, or sort of a gel to make the product stick to the feed itself. And you're going to give that every day for 10 days, and then every third day. Now, I'm going to read it real quick again, but if you want to know or want it in writing, Gina will have it. Is that okay? She can email it to you?
Yes.
So, with the curled toes that affected these birds in only one breed, in the multiple breeds that he had, young and old, vitamin B shortage, vitamins B1, B2, B6. They're in a lot of different products. Most possibly due to a low-grade coccidiosis, which lowered the immune system. His suggestion is treat all of the birds with cocciworm tablets as directed, and I think it's 1 day, isn't it? Do you remember, Gina?
I'll find out for you.
Okay, and then repeat it in 2 weeks. And at the same time, on the food, you're going to add multivite and avio gel. What you do is the avio gel is a gel. You put the multivitamin in, multivite, and you stir it all up, and then add that to the feed. And the directions are on the product itself. So that should take care of his problem. I communicated that information to Roger, and Roger is going to get on it right away. This was, I'm going to say Tuesday or Wednesday, and if he's going to let me know result-wise whether they're good or bad. There we go. The president of the corporation just handed us a cocciworm. It appears as though she has nothing to do.
Appears.
That's the cocciworm?
Yes, 1 tablet.
1 tablet, 1 time. Okay, I hope that answers your question. And once again, you can contact Gina, and actually could give it to Kim also. No reason why Kim can't share that information with you.
Yes. I have a couple questions from Travis. Will you guys be running any specials on vaccinations? Unfortunately, no, we normally don't run specials on vaccines. And how long should you wait until you breed after vaccinating your birds? What else do you recommend before breeding?
We did a show, was it last week on breeding? Yeah, I think it was the last show.
I think it was.
When it comes to breeding, it's like a paint job: preparation, preparation, preparation. Clean the walls and all that, fill all the cracks if you're going to paint a job. So when it comes to breeding, it's preparation also. Preparation, if you, let's say, hypothetically, you're going to start breeding in March. You should separate your hens and cocks, if at all possible. I know it's not always possible, but the best thing you can do is put the hens in one section, the cocks in another section, and if possible, with a solid wall behind them, between them, because if they can see each other, in most cases, they're going to stay mated. The advantage of that is, number one, you're giving the birds a rest, and that's important. Laying the egg, the whole process of breeding, where the male and chases the female, the male's all stressed out, the female's all stressed out, then the process of creating an egg and laying those 2 eggs, then setting those eggs for 18 days, and then feeding the young. It's all stressful. And the birds need to have a break from that. If not, especially in warm weather, the birds will breed almost year-round. So separate your birds, if at all possible. Then we're going to be talking about it before breeding season. In fact, why don't we do it right now, because it kind of ties into it. Talk about preparation for breeding season. That's on our agenda here.
Okay, you want to answer his questions first?
Isn't that his...
How long do you wait till...
What else do you recommend before breeding, Gina? Didn't you read that?
I did, so we'll answer that question when we do... Can you answer the first question?
How long should... I'm sorry, but if you folks knew what I have to go through. When you work with family, if I was here and this was an employee and not family, they wouldn't dare do some of the things that they do and say to me. I hope you'll tell people that go easy on Jerry. But how long should you wait until you breed after vaccinating? 14 days is a good round number, 14 days.
Thank you.
And then the next question, we'll get to it, Travis.
Momentarily.
See how she interrupted me? I do my best. All I can do is do my best.
I'll be quiet while you interrupt.
Create the problem and solve it.
That's right.
It's an inside joke, folks. I'm sorry.
Anybody send in a comment about what swag is? The swag method?
Swag. It's spelled SWAG. What does that mean?
Swag. We'll get to that at the end of the show.
Okay.
Okay, so what do we? Okay, show season. Bring the baskets. Bring the birds.
No,
We're
okay.
just briefly going to talk about that.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I said go ahead. You
Oh.
want to start it off? Or?
Well, you can start it. You can finish it. I
Okay.
started.
Well,
You finished.
just as I had mentioned before, most situations need planning, or what you do before is so important before the event itself. So, number one, you can't show a bird that's got holes in its feathers from lice or mites or whatever it is. So pick up your birds, and if they've got pinholes in their feathers, don't show them. You'll get disqualified. But if you do see little small rectangular little brown spots, you want to clean all the bugs off of those birds. And it's always good to do that before a show, because number one, you're going to clean them a little bit, but you don't know, there could be a pigeon fly on that bird. Pigeon flies are notorious for hiding. So if you're handling your birds and spreading the wings and the tail, it might be a fly there. So what I would suggest you do is buy a product that's going to remove the insects. What are you laughing at?
Nothing.
You don't know what you're laughing at either? This is not a joke. This is serious stuff.
I'm not laughing at you.
So dip them in a permectin solution. That's how to do it is in the catalog. Or we also sell sprays that you can use.
And it's important that they know not to rinse it off, correct?
Yes.
The permectin, do not rinse it off.
Yeah, you're just defeating the purpose. But the permectin will kill everything on your everything but your bird, unless you do it when it's 95 degrees and it's too hot to do that. So we're now into fall, but if you are going to dip your birds, never do it on an extremely hot day. You interrupted me.
Well, that was important because we had a question about that.
Right.
We had an email question about that.
The other thing is so simple. Clean the bird's feet. You get yourself a warm cloth or paper towel and clean the feet. I know that some people rub the bird's feet with something called a vapor. You've heard of vapor. What is it? Vapor rub?
Vicks Vapor Rub?
Yeah. What that does is makes the feet red, which makes them more attractive. And I think if the advantage of that is if the judge has a cold, he's got the sniffles, and he smells that vapor rub, the bird might win the show because the judge is so thankful that he doesn't have that sniffles anymore.
Anyway.
Don't take me serious now. No, all right. So when you are going to the show, you should, I've said this before, bring your own water, bring your own feed. Put a little note, if you can, on the show cage where your bird is to say, please do not feed, please do not water. And bring a couple of containers. You can buy them, or you maybe already have them, or we have them. And feed your feed. The birds are already used to your feed, and they're going at the show. They're going to eat something completely different. We don't know how they'll handle that. Also, the water. Your water may be high in calcium content or minerals, or the fluoride mixture may be different. So bring your own water in a gallon jug, and keep the water clean. Keep the feed clean. There's something else that you can do. We sell a green floor grill. It's made specifically to fit into your show cage. It won't go through, you lift the door up, it won't go into that opening, but you just lift the cage up and slide it in. What that helps with is it helps prevent the birds walking around in their own droppings. And if you go to a show, you'll see these little green grills in many show cages. And we'll be bringing some to Louisville, but that's another thing you can do. So when it also, this is kind of just a thought that Gina and I were discussing before the show. You're bringing your birds, and you're bringing your birds in the best condition and best looks that you can possibly create. Well, give some thought to the basket that you're bringing them in. Don't bring them in a cruddy old basket that you haven't cleaned in ages, or maybe the floor of it is straw or old shavings or something. So empty out your basket as best you can, scrape the bottom, spray the whole basket. We have three or four different sprays. One's a pigeon protector and one is a bug spray. Spray the floor of your basket and the whole thing, because mites and fleas, if it's kept in the basket's kept into the loft, could be in the cracks and crevices, and you don't want that. So clean it. Clean the whole basket as best you can, and I say this not facetiously. Good word, huh? Facetiously. Why not paint it? It's so easy. Get yourself a can of spray and spray the top, make it look real nice. Or if it's a basket that's been patched and it's old or whatever, consider buying a new one. But you should be proud of not just your bird. You should be proud of the way you handle your birds. Like you're concerned, you're putting your own water, you're putting your own feed, and your basket should be very nice too. Something else that's available from Foys, or a lot of the baskets look the same when you go to a show. We sell a little brass plate that you can put your name on there if you want.
We don't sell them anymore.
Yeah, pardon?
We don't sell them anymore.
Well, I can get them. I know people. Okay. Did I mention enough? The baskets, pigeon protector. No, Novosan's another one that's
Disinfectant.
a disinfectant too. So we have them in our catalog. But preparation before, once those birds are in the show cage, you've pretty much lost control over, what they're going to look like when they go into the judge's cage. So prepare for the show. Do it right. Make your birds look good. Make you proud. Did I do all right with that one?
You did a good job. Thank you.
If you're just tuning into the show, or we're on at 3 o'clock, you missed. We did a 10-minute segment as a warm-up, and 5. Well, I exaggerate sometimes. But if you want to see it, all of our shows put up by Veronica on our site very soon after the show is done, so you can go back and look at those first 10 minutes. We talked about a brand new product it used to be called LS50, but you'll have to go to the site.
Yes, you will.
That's called a tease.
That's a tease. Okay. I just wanted to mention also we're working on a new catalog, but if you need a catalog, if you don't have one, there's a lot of good information that Jerry puts in the catalog, a lot of stuff that will help you with certain things. So if you don't have one, please call us and ask to send you a catalog, and you can call us.
Go ahead. I was just going to, I'll interrupt you while
Go ahead.
I got a call from a gentleman this week, and he belonged to the Watertown, I think South Dakota, Watertown, might have been Wisconsin, Watertown Pigeon Club. And I said, how many members do you have? He said, about 25. That's a nice size club. I says, do you have one of our catalogs? He said, no, I don't. I said, well, how about this? We'll send you 20 catalogs, which we did, so that every member of that club has our catalog. And the point that Gina was making is, yes, it's a catalog, but it's really a resource book. There is so much information about disease and just tips and a lot of stuff in there. And if you compare our catalog to anybody else's catalog in the industry, we just don't say, for instance, ronadazole 10% for canker. We go through the whole spiel is the word, but we describe the product, how to use it, why, and then we also, in the front of the book, almost every disease that's common in pigeons is named and discussed, and suggestions for what to use. So it's really is a resource book. I'm sorry I interrupted
That's
you.
okay. So if you'd like to call us, you can call 724-843-6889. And anybody can help you with that.
Yeah, we're open 9 to 5.
9 to 5, Monday through Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And we've had many requests to see my lofts. I have somebody coming tomorrow, so I mentioned that only because if you'd like to, if you're going by on the Pennsylvania Turnpike or in the Pittsburgh area, we'd be glad to have you. I take you to my lofts, but you have to make an appointment. But I do have somebody coming tomorrow.
Yeah. So we do sometimes come in on Saturdays. Customers coming from long distance will ask if we can come in on Saturday, and we do accommodate them. So if you want to come, or if you're near the area for any reason and you would like to come visit on a Saturday, it is possible.
And in mentioning and talking about the catalog, I had myself a note. One of the things we do offer is if you as an individual or a company, but as an individual will say, would like to put an ad in our catalog, or maybe you want to sell a particular strain or breed of pigeon, we would be glad to place it. That's a little bit different than a commercial ad, in that if you're an individual and want to sell pigeons, I'd like to personally talk to you, see what birds you have and what the background is, just to make sure that what you're offering is a quality bird. Because by allowing you to offer your birds in our catalog in a small way, we're recommending you because we have talked to you. So it's a good way. Put the ad in the catalog. It's there for almost 2 years, so it's a very effective way to get your name out and sell your pigeons.
And we do have customers calling all the time asking for a specific breed, and I mean, we don't always know. Jerry doesn't always know of somebody who sells that breed, so that's a good way to advertise for yourself if you do sell your birds.
In fact, I called you this morning and wanted to know a name, and you told me it was Jay Turner.
Right.
Somebody is looking for Luzernes, and the only person in the United States I know for sure has Luzernes is Jay. So I contacted or emailed Jay and asked him if it's okay to give out his phone number. I won't do it unless I have permission.
Okay. So we have a couple questions. Yusuf asks, can you please recommend a good vaccination gun? Do you sell any? We do sell one. We just got a new style. The old one was discontinued.
Is it on the website?
Don't think it's on the website yet. It will be next week though.
But we have them in stock.
So right? we just got a new one in that does dose at the 1/4 cc for our vaccinations that we sell. So that was the important thing that we looked for, dosing at a 1/4 cc, which a lot of them don't. So this one does. If you want to look on the website Monday, it will be there. Right, Veronica?
Okay. No.
Yep. Wade, do you carry? I'm guessing that's the natural bath salts. I'm not sure.
It is. It is.
But we do sell the natural bath salts. We are out of stock right now. But we do have sell several other company bath salts. We sell Versalaga. We sell Foys bath salts. And Racing Pigeon Cleanser, which is another brand. Any other ones?
Yep. They're all very, very similar. They have to be made to kill bugs on a pigeon, but on the other hand, we know that the pigeons may drink the water, so it's perfectly safe. And bath salts, there's no salt in it, but it's the common name. The bad salt is made by the natural company.
So normally we do carry it, but the natural brand is out of stock at the moment.
And I have a choice. I can use anything I want one. And what I've always used was the bad salts, and then I switched to Foys, and then we can't make Foys anymore, can we? Oh, okay. I was thinking that was one of them we dropped.
No, Dr. Pigeon is dropped.
Yeah, okay. I use Foys bath salts is what I
Yes.
use.
Okay.
A lot of people don't know. You give your birds a bath in the middle of the winter, even though it's cold outside. They love baths. And they'll take a bath, take most of the water off, and bugs are around in the wintertime too.
Yep. Okay.
Thanks for all the questions. It's great. It makes the show more informative because there are a lot of people, as we've said before, who, for whatever reason, don't send a question in. And if you send a question in, it's a question a lot of other people may have asked.
Or think about but don't want to ask. So please always ask your question. And most of the time we get to all of them on the air. If not, we'll answer them on the we'll comment on your question. Along with that, I just wanted to make note that when you private message us on the Foys site, we don't normally check that. So we would recommend that you call us or ask the question or comment on the Facebook live show.
Or email?
Or email. Yep, or email. Yeah, because we can't always get to that.
If you have a question, and we've said this before, almost anybody with the exception of Veronica can answer a question. Veronica just isn't that interested in pigeons. She's just here for a paycheck. But don't mind me. It's just my mood today. But everybody here has been doing this for a number of years, and most of the questions are repetitive. They can answer your questions, but in the case there are going to be some that they can't. I don't think anybody else in the industry will do this either. They'll give you my home phone number. I own the company. I've been involved in pigeons for over 60 years. In fact, veterinarians sometimes call me with questions about the pigeon's health. So if you have a question, it can't be answered by the folks here at the store, you can call me at home.
Lost my train of thought.
Jeez, that train, you lost that twice
know.
now.
I also customers would like to send pictures or videos, and oftentimes I've given. I'm not even gonna say. You can send. No, I'll say it. I've given my cell number out so they can send me the picture or video, and then I'll email them to Jerry, or you can just email them to us. Mm-hmm. You can't text it to him because he won't know how to get it.
Well, it just takes me time, but it takes me a half an hour to respond because where'd B, C, where's F? Hit it over there, and then I hit the wrong button, and I have to start all over again.
So pictures and videos are nice to see we had a customer the other day, and me and Sherry were trying to figure out, we were between two things, and we were kind of unsure. So the guy's like, well, I have a video. And I said, well, that'll work. So we sent the video. I emailed it to Jerry, and it was paratyphoid.
Yep, it was paratyphoid.
So.
And then today we got email with about 6 or 7 different pictures of the birds themselves that were sick, and also the droppings, and we diagnosed that as a bacterial infection, and recommended in this particular case, I recommended amoxicillin.
Right. And a lot of times, I know we discussed this before, but when you call with questions on the health of your pigeons, don't just say they're sick, because if you go to the doctor and say you're sick, well, they're going to look in your throat, they're going to look in your ears, they're going to check a lot of things. So you need to do that too. Look at the droppings. There's all different types of droppings, and that'll tell us a lot about what's going on with the birds. The droppings, look down their throat. Yep. Are they eating or drinking more or less?
It sounds funny, but stick the beak in your ear, right into the ear, and listen. And a lot of times you'll hear a rattle or you'll hear congestion. So there's a lot of things you can do. Well, you can also send samples of droppings to us.
Right.
We have a veterinarian who's a pigeon person, and he'll look at the droppings under a microscope. So all of these services are there for you, and take advantage of them.
Also, you may see them breathing with their mouth open.
That isn't always a problem, but sometimes it is.
Yeah. So pay attention to them. If they're sick, we're going to ask you a whole bunch of questions, so be prepared for it.
The one we get all the time, which really tells us nothing, I'm not finding fault, is they're all fluffed up and standing in a corner. Well, all pigeons, at least 99% of the pigeons that get sick, are going to be fluffed up. And that's not a symptom. Well, I'm sorry. It is a symptom that they're sick, but Lord knows, like if you say you've got a bad headache, it doesn't tell you what the issue is. It's just that we know you have a bad headache or a stomach ache, could be the flu. We don't know. I'm talking about individuals. So with pigeons, the same. The more information you can supply, the better chance we have of diagnosing it.
Right. Okay, so next, did we talk about preparing for breeding season?
No,
we didn't,
no,
right?
We haven't done that yet. Remember we said we'd
The
do that
second part of the
momentarily?
question. Yes, I do. So we want to talk about disinfecting your lofts, your perches, your nest boxes, all that. How important it is before breeding season. And Jerry's going to take it away.
Well, you sort of already stole my thunder. You looked over at my notes.
I didn't. I was looking at my notes.
Well, cleanliness is next to godliness. Did you ever hear that one before? It's something like that, isn't it? Mm-hmm. It just seemed like it's a theme going through this show today. Preparation, preparation, preparation. So before the breeding season, you want to clean your loft. And when I say clean the loft, I mean from top to bottom. You, like me, I take all of my nest boxes out and clean them, disinfect them, and put them aside until I'm going to use them. But let's say you don't take your nest boxes out. So you've got to take the nest bowls out and scrape everything, especially the floor of the nest box. Then you're going to eventually put your nest bowls back in. Those have to be disinfected unless they're brand new. You're going to scrape your perches. I love the triangle scrapers when it comes to the perches. There's nothing better to do it than with the triangle scraper. So you're going to clean them. You're going to scrape the walls. You really should scrape the walls. We sell a 12-inch or 11.5-inch scraper, saves some time. But what I do is I use the triangle scraper again because I can get in between the perches without any problem at all and scrape the walls down. Your wire, if you have wired ceiling, you want to do your best to clean that. And I strongly recommend you wear a mask when you're doing that because you're going to create dust, especially if you like hit the ceiling with something and the dust is going to come down. So I want to clean the dust, the screening as best I can. You're going to scrape your floors right down to the natural surface, whether it's wood or no matter what you've got, you're going to scrape your floors. Now you've got everything cleaned. And what you now want to do is disinfect everything before you put your birds in there. We've got Pigeon Protector. We've got Novasan. We have a bug spray where you can spray everything that kills all of the bugs. So you want to do that too. Don't forget your drinkers and your feeders. If you have drinkers that are metal or drinkers that are plastic, you can soak them in a barrel. What I do is I actually have a 55-gallon barrel. I fill it maybe not even halfway up, and in that solution overnight, and the next day it's real easy to clean because almost everything that was dried on is now softened. And what I do is I put them on the grass and hose them down, and I'm ready for next year. So as I said before, clean the nest bowls. That's pretty much it. Now you've got everything ready, and when you put your birds in there, they're ready to go. Everything is sanitary, and your breeding season is going to start. I actually start my breeding season late November, and I'm in a cold climate. But the reason I do that is I want to make available pigeons as early as possible. I already have orders for white birds for 116 already for 2020. So one gentleman ordered 100. He buys from me every year. And he always orders 25 or 50 at a time. And I said, why don't you just give me a pre-order for 100 or whatever you think you want? And then I'll know I've got the order rather than you calling me and I just shipped out the birds. So he did order 100, and as they become available, I will ship them to him 16 or 17 at a time. Okay.
Okay. Sounds
Got a
good.
question? Don't forget, we would love to hear from you. We appreciate the tens of thousands of people that watch us on a regular basis. But when you ask a question, you're asking a question for other people too. So if you have a basic question, just give us a call. Well, the show's over. Can we leave now?
No.
No?
We also appreciate the comments. We get a lot of nice comments, and we do appreciate it.
I'm just amazed at how many people do watch the show. If you've only watched the show once or twice, or maybe this is your first time, we've had as many as 100,000 people watching us at one time. We're always in the 50,000 range. Veronica, is that your eyes went up? Is that not the case? I mean, sometimes we're below 50,000. Sometimes it's 10 people, but that's pretty good. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Okay, do we have anything else on our agenda?
No, the agenda's done. But
Okay.
we do try to do some shows. We try to do a Facebook Live show. We won't be able to do one in Louisville or the Big Apple. We may be able to do one in Lancaster.
Yeah, they have the place to do that.
We did Lancaster last year, so that will be our goal this year. Well, January also to do another live show at Lancaster.
Yep. And once again, we repeat, if you are going to be in Louisville, Lancaster, Big Apple, we will be at those shows. And the earlier you send in your pre-order, the better chances you have of getting it. I think we'll get them all, but it's growing so much that people year after year know and plan and send us these big orders. Literally saving hundreds of dollars.
Right.
Like one fellow, didn't he order 70 or 100 those wood floor grates? How many was that?
The gray ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was. Oh no, we shipped out 100, and then we shipped out 70 more.
And then we got the big wood ones. We got a stack of those.
We're taking those too.
And grit and floor covering and all those kind of things. So.
And another reason people pre-order is because a lot of times at the show they may not have a chance to come to the table and pick up what they need, or they'll get there late and whatever they want is already picked over. So some stuff we never know what to take. It always changes from year to year, but we do bring a big variety of stuff. But we don't bring everything. So if there's something that you think you may want, and you're unsure if we're going to take it, just give me a call and I'll let you know if we're taking it or not. Or if we're not taking as many and you want it or you want to see something, then I can bring it for you. But just give me a call.
The judges and the exhibitors want to spend time watching the judging and don't have the time to come over and pick everything out. And by the time they do, like you said, many times it's slim pickings.
Right.
So a lot of the exhibitors call us, and all you do is walk up and say your name, and we've got them all in alphabetical order, and we give you your order, and away you go. You don't have to worry about us running out.
But when you pre-order, you do have to pay for it. A lot of people call and think they don't have to pay, but you have to pay for it when you order it. Because in the past, we didn't always do that, and people wouldn't show up to pick up their order. And we'd have to bring everything back. And so you do have to pay for your order for us to bring to the show.
I was going to ask you, there's a Lancaster show. Do you know what the date is on that? I know it's in January. Hold on, let me ask him. It's the week before the Grand National, I think.
Because we have Fremont, Lancaster, and the National. I think it's the second week, but I'm gonna find out for sure for you, Russ.
Okay. We wanted to go ahead.
Go ahead.
We wanted to talk a little bit about heaters, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
And we've got a little bit of time, and we want to
that.
do that because certainly cold weather is not around the corner.
It's
Cold
here.
weather is here. It was in we've already had frost here in Pennsylvania, so we're going to talk about heaters. I At any given time I have as many as 13 sections of pigeons. Might have 300 birds. I don't use a heater, and I could, because certainly all I have to do is tell Gina that I'm taking them out of inventory. Sometimes I forget. But what I do is I use the Ideal Drinker with a 1 gallon heavy duty plastic pan. I have 2 pans for every section. What I do is go out, even if it's freezing, it doesn't matter, below zero. I go out with a clean bowl in the morning, take the bowl that's froze solid, and put a clean bowl in, fill it up with water. The one that's solid, I walk out and I have a concrete block. I smack it on a concrete block. The ice falls out, and I take it in, clean it, and I'm ready for the next day. But there are a lot of people who find it more important to use a heater for various reasons. So we have a bunch of them. And I will say,
6 different ones.
biggest selection of heaters for pigeons in the United States. Should we take the question first and then go back to the heaters?
No, we'll finish the heaters.
Okay. Do you have the pictures, Veronica? Are they up? Because I can't see the screen. So we're going to talk about, we sell a flat heater made overseas.
3 sizes.
Pardon? Yes, three different sizes. And if you want to do this, go ahead and you talk. I'll shut up.
Go ahead.
Oh. So I'm sorry, folks. The devil made me do it today. I don't know. Maybe it was that cold beer I had at lunch.
Oh, maybe.
Maybe. But anyway, they're little round, different sizes for different drinkers. They're flat, and they're made specifically for us in Poland, of all places. In Europe, they use them, very, very popular, but their electrical system is different wattage than ours. So we got together with a manufacturer, and they now make them with the American plug. Like I say, we're the only people in the United States that have them. And they have an inside thermostat, so to speak. In other words, they don't stay on all the time. They just go on when the need is there based on the temperature. You can get more information on our website and our catalog. We also have what's called a can heater. Stands about this high. And the can heater uses the light bulb. Been around forever. They do work. They're great, but you don't want to use them with a plastic. The other ones you can, but with the can heater, you cannot use it with plastic because the heat is not controlled. It's the light bulb. If the drinker you're using seals the opening where the light bulb is, it could possibly melt a hole in your drinker. But there are a lot of people that have used them for years and years, and they're fine as long as you're aware of their pros and cons. And with that, you can also get a sort of a stand for them, and it sits on, the heater sits on it. Once again, they're in the catalog. We have the large thermostatic heater. That one is made for poultry as well as pigeons, chickens and pigeons. It does have a thermostat, goes on, goes off at specific times, works well with the bigger ones. Did I cover all of them?
Did you mention the bullet?
Oh, the bullet. If you have a drinker, a plastic drinker.
European. That's what it's called.
I never interrupt you, do I?
Never.
Never. So anyway, the plastic heaters that are made in Europe, like that makes a difference. Who cares where they're made? They're a plastic drinker.
But it's called the European drinker.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Anyway, they have a little hole in the bottom and on the heater, it has a matching protrusion. You put your heater, your European drinker on top of them, and it fits right over that protrusion. That's another heater that we sell. So we have a large variety of heaters. If you have any questions, go to the site. If you have more questions on whether your drinker will work with ours, you give us a call, and we can certainly give you that information.
And we will have all the heaters at Louisville except the thermostatic heater. So if you think you want that one, then give me a call.
And people buy them 3, 4, 5 at a time. Or what happens a lot of times is people will come in with a list of stuff they want, and they're bringing it home for their friends. Their friends all give them the order, and we sell a bunch of heaters. So if you want a heater, either pre-order it or come early. And we set up to sell on Friday. Is that
We
correct?
start selling Friday.
And what's
Yes.
weird is this Louisville show is a 1-day show. It's a Saturday show. All the judging is done and over with, and we're usually out of there by 2:00 in the afternoon on a Saturday.
Yep. Norm asked if you're being a Ravens fan for Halloween. Absolutely nuts.
Why don't we bring some of that candy corn? Raven fans for Halloween. Ravens. The Ravens are in Baltimore, aren't they?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, Norm. How you doing?
Yes, we will be bringing Ultra Pro to Louisville. Don't remember off the top of my head how much, but I'm sure it's quite a bit.
And it comes in 2 sizes.
Yes, 2 sizes, because that's a very good seller. So we will have quite a bit there. Tiffany, how cold is too cold to breed and raise young?
There is, well, I shouldn't say. I've raised young when it was below 0. The key to that is you can't have young pair breeders, maybe first or second time they've ever hatched an egg out. They're inexperienced and don't cover the eggs sometimes and keep them as warm as possible. If you've got breeders, let's say, that are 2 or 3 years old, there's a much better chance that you can breed birds under that condition, which could be below 0. But I also would mention, we here at Foys, once again, an exclusive product of ours, where it's a heavy, heavy nest bowl that can't be moved around, and you can plug it in, and it will keep the eggs warm. You put down your straw, whatever you're using for nesting material, and it's an age, so if you have a very, very special pair, I think they cost $20 or $30 per bowl, but they'll last a lifetime. You plug them in, and it'll keep the nest bowl warm, and that in turn, eggs and young ones warm.
That's called a heated nest bowl.
I'll be darned.
How about that? Imagine that, huh?
You know, who come up with that name? Heated nest bowl. That kind of tells you that if it's a nest bowl and it says heated, it gets warm.
Yeah.
Isn't that what I just said?
So, did I tell Russ what day Lancaster was?
Pardon?
Did I tell him what day Lancaster was? I don't remember. If I did or didn't, I don't know. It's January 11th.
And if that's the same gentleman, that's the same one that asked about Lancaster?
Yes.
Yeah. We are set up to sell somewhere around 10 o'clock on Friday morning.
I'm sure a little earlier than that.
Well, I want to tell him 10.
Okay.
Because if he shows up at 9 and we're not ready, he'll be upset at me.
Okay. So we'll say 10.
But if you'll know, because we set up on Thursday, all of our products are covered with a black plastic. If you see the black plastic, we're not open. And as soon as that black plastic is off, we're open.
We're open for business.
Yep.
Okay. Anything else?
Well, Russ, you come see us at our booth.
Questions,
Looking forward to
Veronica?
meet you. I'm not allowed in the booth, but they'll be able to point where I am. They'll probably stick me in a corner somewhere with bad lighting, and my feet will get cold. But I'm for you folks, so
I'll bring you a
will go
heated
through
nest
that.
bowl to put your feet on.
I could take my shoes off and have 2 nest bowls down there and stick my feet in them. Well, guys, I sure hope you enjoyed the show. We've tried to make it informative. If you think of it, Legacy Fund Trust, if you want to bring a pair of nice pigeons, whatever breed, we are always looking for different breeds, bring them to the show. And if we sell you birds, and most of the birds go for $100 or more, the pairs, your name will be published in the National Pigeon Association Quarterly Magazine at least twice a year forever.
Okay, so our next show will be Friday, November 1st, and the topic will be breeding. So we'll be showing different nest boxes, nest bowls, nest pads, nest fronts. If there's anything special you want us to talk about, want us to show, give us a call and we'll be more than happy to show it on the air.
That's an excellent point, because I've been using the feeder water stand, which you screw
Drinker
to the
feeder
wall.
stand?
I really like them, but it's hard for us to display them. Maybe beforehand I'll screw one to a piece of wood to show people.
Yeah.
But what it is it's collapsible, but when you screw it to the wall, way it's made, it's propped up to hold steady, and you put your drinker on there. You put your heater on there too. But what's really nice is the water stays much cleaner. During molt, there's feathers everywhere. With the feeder stand, drinker feeder stand, the water stays 95% cleaner. So cleaner waters, healthier pigeons.
All right, so hopefully we'll see you in Louisville. If not, we'll see you back here November 1st.
If you bought birds at the auction, thank you very much. But please, if you have the opportunity, call us today and use your credit card. I could go on for another half an hour. You think we should?
Nah, negative. I got work to do.
Well, how about if I just sat here and talked to the people?
You can do that.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
They don't tune in to watch me. They tune in to watch you.
Yes, they do. Yeah. Anyways, everybody have a great weekend. We'll talk to y'all soon.
Thank you.